the accounts receivable, things like that, but we're not putting a main focus on credit. Although we like to see personal credit, we're a business capital lender. So we like to see that the business has been established and then you have some revenue that has been generated. We also work with startups. And so if you are a startup, we can actually help with, becoming an advocate for your business and helping you establish the business credit so you can borrow lines without commingling your personal and business credit. But all it takes is one thing, an application. And so if you have been in business for over 2 years, we can fund up to $250,000 with just an application and 3 months bank statements. That's basically all we need. And we have everything from SBA Express loan to a bridge loan. We have asset-based lending if you do want to use collateral to have it become a little more stable in a longer term. But no one should turn away the fact that they don't have to commingle their personal and business credit. I know a lot of people say to me, we are getting ready to buy a home and I don't want my personal credit pulled. Well, I understand that. I know when I was buying a home, I didn't want to affect my debt to income ratio. And so one of the things that people don't know in business finance is that we take only a soft pull on your credit. So we just make sure that you have things that are in line with our product. And so it doesn't affect your personal credit when you're doing a credit pull. So it's not going to affect your points on your credit score. And we also, when we do a loan, we only report to business credit. And so with that said, you have availability to borrow money, set up your event, and maybe buy the additional books or set up your booth or whatever the costs are for you. Borrow that money on a short term, and then you're able to pay it back as you're able to make money for it. One of the things I talked about this weekend, which was fun in Texas, is, you wouldn't pay for an employee before they started working for you, right? So if that's the case, why would you pay a cash outlay before you started generating revenue? And I think that that is such an important thing to teach each and every one of you out there. I'm so excited to be able to speak in Atlanta and educate. I feel like I could sit on this forum for 8 hours today and teach you guys all of the little pieces of business finance. But I want to really get the word out that there is availability. There are advocates. My company, which is Coastal Capital, capitals with a K, we have a multitude of very, very amazing reps inside my office that have been taught from me. They have been taught from start to finish on really educating the entrepreneurs, educating the coaches, educating the cash outlay, making sure it makes sense, because putting everything on a credit card, that can affect your debt to income ratio. Putting everything, borrowing money and giving away equity is something we also don't want you to have to do if you've built and established your credit from a certain point. There are a lot of people, mostly through COVID, that are leveling up, and collaboration is the new currency. And so we really believe to collaborate and to continue to do these movements together. It costs a little bit of cash outlay there. Adora and I have talked about, she's sent over a multitude of clients who have ideas, and they haven't put the ideas into effect yet because they couldn't find the funding for it. So just working with someone who can come in and assist you with the differences on, whether bank financing is right for you, how it will affect your credit, how to understand what the cost of money is, so you can generate wealth. One of my, favorite stories is, I don't know if any of you have heard of Brian Johnson, the entrepreneur. I love the story because he did the same thing I did when I first started out. I did door-to-door sales. So I'm a born salesperson. And he invented a solution and ended up selling a solution to he sold the solution to PayPal for $800 million when he was 18 years old. Well, I did the same thing door to door that he did. And I knew that there was a disconnect on people understanding how their merchant processing costs, things like that. But I didn't ever know that I could create a solution and maybe hire an engineer or things like that, because when you can't get bank funding, maybe you haven't established your credit. Maybe you're a coach that doesn't want to use your credit, something like that. But when you haven't currently established personal credit enough to borrow the line that will go, towards creating success, then it's going to be really hard to, once you hear those declines, you don't hear the yeses. Some people just take that one opinion and they look at that opinion and think, well, I'm declined. I'm not going to be able to move forward. That shouldn't be the case. So at my company, we look at a few things. We look at how long you've been in business, what type of AR you have coming in, what type of valuation you have on your company. We want to see what you're doing, who your clients are. We want to know about you because we want to create a partnership. Again, collaboration is the new currency, right? We want a partnership because we want you to win. We want you to succeed. And so my education to everyone in any sort of entrepreneurial industry is to create a platform for yourself, create a 90-day goal. And within that 90 days, start breaking it down into segments. Who is going to get you there? Make a list of all the people who are going to get you there. What is going to get you there? Is it going to be money? If it's going to be money, what are all of the places? Where are all of the places that you can look for money? Is it going to be a family member, a private investor, someone who would take equity, something that I don't like to give away? Would it be a bank? Is it going to be credit card? So you put yourself at a credit card debt with compounded interest. Are you going to borrow against your home? Again, compounded interest. So you look at an interest rate, and now you look at the rates, they've gone up a little bit. Remember, that's all on your personal credit. Every single one of those things I listed, except for a family member or someone taking equity, is personal credit. So how much do you value your business and your relationships? Create a list allowing yourself to look at alternative ways of lending. My company does that. There's a multitude of companies out there that also assist with that. But I do believe that we have a bit of a niche because we really, really care about our clients. We want to make sure that you all get into something that you can, first of all, afford. You can always grow. It's harder to take away. So we want to make sure that it's affordable to you. We will never put you in anything that you can't afford, but we want to make sure that you're educated. It's absolutely imperative that you educate on these type of things. And so I'm just, as an entrepreneur who failed, I remember my absolute love was clothing. I opened this clothing store with every single thing that I had. I undercapitalized myself because I paid for, the sign outside, the cash register, the events that I had, trunk shows, which reminds me of a lot of coaching. You have your show set up. Some of them cost anywhere from, I've seen show setups cost $30,000 to, access of that. And Adora, you and I talked